Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go through Learning Target 2.2.3. This is a couple days into this Learning Target and we're going to start talking now about standard form and how to graph in standard form. So when it's not in y equals mx plus b, what do we do? How does our method change? In the packet, this is on page 27. You can also have a notebook out as well. Or if you have graph paper, that would be helpful for the graphing portion. If you do not have graph paper for these ones, you're just going to do your best to sketch as we kind of graph through this. So we have a few steps to graph in standard form. And so when we have y equals mx plus b, we have that begin with b, move with m method. But in standard form or in any other form, so I kind of want to make a note to myself that this is for anything that's not in y equals mx plus b. So anything else. And so what we're going to do is we need 2 points to be able to graph, and the two special points that are pretty easy for us to find are our intercepts. So our first step is to find the y-intercept by plugging in 0 for x. So we're going to find our y-intercept by plugging in 0 for x, because we know all y-intercepts are 0, comma, the number, so we can plug in 0 for x. Then we'll plot that on the y-axis, so that'll be our first point. And then we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to find the x-intercept this time by plugging in 0 for y. And you can do these in either order, it doesn't really matter. And I'll show you what that looks like below. So this says to graph this equation, and you can see this is not set up like y equals mx plus b. So this is when we're not going to be able to do the begin with b and move with m. We have to do this method. So what I like to do is I like to label my work x-intercept, y-intercept, and I'm going to find them both. So for the x-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. If you want to leave a little note to yourself, we're plugging in 0 for y. And so I'm just going to use my original equation and go ahead and plug in 0 for that y value in parentheses. So 5x minus 6 times 0 equals 24. Now the nice thing is we're plugging in 0 every time. And so 0 times anything just goes away. So it's like this piece is just going to go away. And we're left with 5x equals 24. And then my next step is going to be to divide. So I'm going to get out my calculator. We're going to do 24 divided by 5 to get 4.8. So x equals 4.8. So this is our x-intercept. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plot that on the x-axis. And so this is the x-axis, and since this is a decimal, I'm just going to do my best to estimate where 4.8 would be. It's very close to 5. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then almost to 5, I'm going to put a dot. If you want to label, that's our x-intercept. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to plug in 0 for x this time to find our y-intercept. So 0 for x. So using the original equation again, in parentheses, 5 times 0 minus 6y equals 24. Anything times 0 goes away. Be really careful when you pull this down. If there's a negative, don't lose it. So bring the negative 6 with it. And then when we divide, 24 divided by negative 6 is negative 4. So this is my y-intercept, so I'm going to put this on the y-axis. So I'm going to go down to negative 4. This one was a whole number, so it should be on a corner. This is my y-intercept. And I'm assuming that, like myself, you do not have a ruler at your house. So you're just going to find anything that is straight. So anything that has a straight edge that you can use to trace your line. So I'm going to use this tissue box that's next to me. And you're going to line it up right in the middle of your 2 points. And draw a line all the way through your graph. And there we go. So whenever you don't have y equals mx plus b, you're going to need to do this method where you plug in 0 for y to get your x-intercept, and then plug in 0 for x to get your y-intercept, and then connect those two dots to form your line. So what you can do is you can now get started on the independent practice, which is right below this these notes. If you feel like you could go through another example, you can watch the extra help video. And then, like I said, if you do not have graph paper to do these independent practice ones, just kind of sketch a coordinate plane on your paper, and then you can graph it from there. It does not have to be perfect. Thanks, everyone.